Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Legacy Collection review. Today we're taking a look at the new Dr. Sarah Harding and Stegosaurus pack. It's always a good day when Mattel decides to acknowledge the Lost World. This is the second set dedicated to the second film in the franchise. And I was really excited when this was announced because A, we're finally getting more Lost World figures, and B, I really like the packaging. I hope it's a tease that Mattel has a mobile command center cooking up their sleeve. And just like all Legacy Collection releases in the US, this is a Target exclusive. It retails for $39.99. I'll leave a link down below to Target's site if you want to order it. Now, some people got their hands on this set early. It officially released on Sunday, July 31st. My Target actually had these listed in stock for like the last 2 weeks, and what's today? August 3rd. They still haven't put them out yet. So luckily my pre-order shipped I think last Friday, and it finally arrived today. So yeah, really excited to have this in hand. For 40 bucks, it's a really good size box. I really dig the packaging. The one thing I kind of like about the packaging, most of the figures are hidden. You can see this baby Stegosaurus the most, and just a little bit of the adult Stego and just some of Sarah Harding. Normally packaging like this doesn't bother me, but when it concerns Mattel products, I like to see as much of the figure as possible, because we all know their quality control is just a little bit wonky, to say the least. But yeah, really dig the mobile command center packaging. You've got the Legacy Collection logo right down here in the corner. You can see Sarah Harding behind her little prison bars. You can see the baby Stegosaurus. Let's get a little bit of light on it. Like, just because the box is so enclosed, my lights is making this thing look a lot darker than it should. You can see the adult Stego in here, and you can see some of the plates peeking through the bars. That's a nice little homage from when they broke into the hunter's camp in the Lost World. Down here, Dr. Sarah Harding Stegosaurus pack. You got some dirty tires. Turn it around. Here is the front of the mobile command center, and on the back you have a nice rendering of the set with the adult Stego, baby, and Sarah Harding. A picture up here of how the DNA code works, and then spinning it back. That is it for the packaging. Let's crack this set open and take a closer look. And we'll start with this 360-degree view of the set. A really well done set. Love the baby Stegosaurus and Sarah Harding. The baby sports a nice movie accurate color scheme. Sarah has a decent head sculpt, looks pretty similar to Julianne Moore. The adult Stegosaurus is just a very slight retool of the old Fallen Kingdom Stegosaurus. The only thing they remolded on here was along the back, the plates. This whole area along the back is just an insert that fits into the body, and they just retooled it so you can pop up one of the plates to scan the DNA code. Other than that, the figure is exactly the same. Now, as far as the color scheme goes on the adult, it's a great color scheme. It looks really nice. It's definitely one of the better painted Stegosaurs, maybe besides the Dinosaur Stegosaur from Mattel. It's just not a good Lost World Stegosaurus. The Lost World Stegos were much more green. They did not have this much brown, and I guess Mattel didn't want to paint the adult, similar to the old Fallen Kingdom one. Maybe it would just feel like a straight repack, which, wouldn't be out of their league, because look how terrible that Yang Tyrannosaurus blue and whatever the hell other figure pack does come out, just a straight repack. So yeah, it could have had a better color scheme. They probably could have just refined it a little bit, make it look more like the Lost World counterpart. But as a Stegosaurus figure, I still think it's great. I think it's a nicely painted figure, just not a good Lost World paint job. Other than that, I think the set is great and definitely worth the 40 bucks. I do kind of wish, like, I didn't need another Stegosaurus. The Dino Escape one and the Fallen Kingdom one would serve nicely as Fallen Kingdom Stegosaurus, so I wouldn't mind if this was just a 2-pack and it came with some more accessories, or maybe even a vehicle or a cage instead of just getting another Stegosaur. But that's just me wishful thinking. I still like this set a lot. And now for some measurements. Dr. Harding is your standard 3 3/4 inch figure, or about 9.5 centimeters. So that means she is 1/18 scale. Moving on to the baby Stego. This figure is 5.5 inches long, or just about 14 centimeters. 3.5 inches tall to the tallest spike, or about 9 centimeters. I don't have any size estimate of how big that baby was in the Lost World, so no scale for that. And for the adult Stego, 14.5 inches long, or just under 37 centimeters, and 7 inches tall to that top highest plate on his back, or about 18 centimeters. So Stegosaurus in real life was about 33 feet long, or about 10 meters. That would put this figure in the 1/27 scale range. Now let's first take a look at Dr. Sarah Harding. I think she turned out pretty well. That's a pretty decent looking Julianne Moore head sculpt. Really not much more you can ask for a figure of this size and in this price range. One thing I do want to note is, this is a standard Mattel human figure. It's not a Hammond Collection, articulation levels. It's just missing, all those extra articulation joints that the newer Hammond Collection humans have been coming with. If Mattel continues with the Legacy Collection, which I think they will, I hope future human figures at least have Hammond Collection levels of articulation. Because if they don't, we just know what Mattel's going to do with us. They're going to bone us from behind and release Hammond Collection versions of, Roland and Sarah that have better articulation and accessories. And we're going to end up buying these figures twice. So I really hope that they just get, this basic mold out of this system and just switch over to all human figures having Hammond Collection levels of articulation. And let's pop off her camera accessory and take a closer look at her. You can see her hair is nicely sculpted. You have a little bit of black paint for the elastic to hold her hair into a ponytail. Her jacket is nicely sculpted. You can see the pockets sculpted in. If they ever do a Hammond Collection release of this, I wonder if it'll come with a bloody jacket that you can swap out. Going down to the arms, got that nice khaki coloration. Her shirt inside is maroon. She does have almost looks like a hemp necklace around her neck. And going down to her green pants, those are nicely sculpted, nice texturing. She does have a little bit of gold on the belt buckle. The belt is painted in brown, and she does have some nice brown shoes. Now for articulation, pretty standard for these figures. The head can rotate from side to side. It's incredibly tight on my figure. Can move up. They can rotate 360 degrees. You get about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, and you do get a rotation at that elbow joint. She does have a waist swivel. She can do the full splits. She can kick her legs forward, bend just about 90 degrees at the knee, and you get some rotation on that joint, and you don't really get too much back movement because of the butt plate. So the articulation on her is pretty serviceable, just not as good as Hammond Collection human figure. And let's go to her accessory really quick. She does come with her camera that can fit around her neck. It's just molded in black plastic. Has a couple nice molded details on it. You can see some of the buttons. You can see the flash and the lens molded in. You can even see the reticle right here. Oh man, back in the day, no screen to see if it was digital or not. The 90s. The 90s were great. And yeah, so a decent accessory. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. You can put it around her ponytail so it can hang from her neck, so you won't lose it that way. So yeah, all in all, a pretty decent figure. And let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on the baby Stego. Fun fact, the animatronic on the Lost World set was nicknamed Claire, so there's that little factoid for you. The eye is painted straight black with a white spot in the middle to give it that reflective look. The beak is painted in brown, and you have a little bit of brown around the orbit and on the eyelids. Looking at the top, you can see some nice small scale variations all over the head and neck. The 2 rows of plates at the back of the neck are not painted in. Probably too small for Mattel's machines that paint these figures to paint accurately. And then going to the underside, the whole underside is done in a nice brown coat. And look at that, some paint actually got on the tail, which is really rare for a mainline Mattel figure. Some of that brown paint is along the side. It's a very simple and basic paint job, but it works pretty well for the baby Stegosaurus. Like I said, it's pretty accurate to what it looked like in the movie. The small baby-like plates start out green, and they are tipped with brown paint. Going down to the tail, the little tail spikes are nicely done in a yellowish color. Going down to the legs, all the hand claws and toe claws, let's get the camera to focus in, are not painted. Pretty typical of any dinosaur figure from Mattel that is not a Hammond Collection figure. So yeah, all in all, I think this figure turned out pretty neat. And before I forget, here is the scan code for those of you that want to scan it into the Fax app. And let's just do articulation really quick. This figure does have basic articulation. The head can move up, it can move down pretty well, and it can rotate 360 degrees. I really wish it just went with a dedicated ball joint so you get some nice side-to-side movement. The up and down is great, but you just don't get any good side-to-side movement other than that rotation. And then going down to the hind legs, they move forwards and backwards that far before they start to hit the sides of the belly. Hind legs can move backwards and forwards until they hit the front legs. And the tail, that totally useless rotation at the tail. I keep saying it, really need hinge joints on these figures to get better articulation. And lastly, moving on to the adult Stegosaurus. Like I said, this is pretty much a straight up repaint of the old Fallen Kingdom Stego, other than one slightly remolded part, which would be up here for the DNA code for the fax. Other than that, everything else on this figure is pretty much the same. So going down to the head, that is a really nice, Lost World style Stegosaurus head sculpt. The beak is painted a light gray color. Eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. All the plates are painted a nice brown coloration. The body is cast in a very light, like beige brown color, and you do have a little bit of a cream coat on the side, but like I said, it's just it's too brown to be a Lost World Stegosaurus. It should be primarily green, and I kind of get why Mattel didn't do it because of their Fallen Kingdom Stego. So yeah, it just kind of looks out of place in this Lost World set. It just really doesn't look like a Lost World Stego, but it's still a really nicely painted Stegosaurus figure from Mattel. I will give them that. And then going down to the front leg, same thing. Hand claws are not painted in. You do have a little bit of that green paint on the shoulders, some more of that white along the belly. You get some nice pattern with that light green coloration along the sides of the body. You get some of it along the thighs, and then going down to the tail. The tail is painted. The thagomizers are painted this nice yellowish white color, and they are nice and flexible. So yeah, all around a pretty nice Stegosaur figure. And let's do the fax app really quick. Let's pull the DNA code out and zoom in for those of you that want to scan it into the fax app. And getting back to articulation. Articulation on this figure is pretty standard. Head can move down and it can move up. Just waiting for the camera to focus in. You get a little bit of side-to-side movement, not much. Front legs can move forwards and backwards. Hind legs backwards and forwards. There is a locking point to keep the hind legs in that neutral position. The hind legs can pivot to help with stability, which really is a big deal because it is a quadrupedal figure. And the rest of the articulation is tied to the action features. And to activate that, all you need to do is push on this plate right here, and it will activate the swinging tail motion to swat away those pesky scientists bothering your baby. Imagine she just died in the first 5 seconds of the movie. That would have been ballsy. Moving on with comparisons. First up, here it is with the Fallen Kingdom Stegosaurus. Like I said, these two are pretty much the exact same mold other than that slight retool. And for another Stegosaur comparison, here is the Dino Escape one, which I think is the superior mold. It is much more detailed than the old Fallen Kingdom mold. And I think the color scheme on this one is actually much closer to a Lost World Stegosaurus than the one that actually came in the set. And next up, here it is with the other Legacy Collection Lost World release, the InGen ATV with Roland Tembo. And I have to say, the Lost World is probably the best of the entire franchise that can give us the most figures and vehicles and playsets. There's just so much going on in that movie. Capture gear, cages, tons and tons of mercenaries, vehicles. They can just go crazy with it, and I hope they give us the mobile command center, the Mercedes-Benzes, helicopters, Mattel really can milk the Lost World for everything it's worth, and we will buy it all because it's just a fun movie with so much going on with it. And I really hope they do continue along with it. And let's just move the camera over here so everyone can see Sarah and Roland. Hopefully they get a Hammond Collection treatment, because Roland really needs his Nitro Express rifle. That really did not make me happy that he did not come with his signature gun, and I really hope they do a mobile command center. I think that would just be absolutely fantastic if they do that. I just, it took Mattel almost 4 years to, acknowledge the Lost World exists with these two sets, so who knows when they'll get around to doing like the mobile command center, probably another 4 or 5 years from now. And let's do a couple baby dinosaurs for the baby Stego. Here is the recently reviewed baby in the Pseudoceratops, and here is Beta. And next up here is the Hammond Collection Parasaurolophus, which is the only other figure in the line that actually has the Lost World branding on it. And you can't do Stegosaur comparisons without Allosaurus. And lastly, here it is with the Hammond Collection T-Rex. And speaking of the Hammond Collection, I wonder if Mattel has any plans to introduce another size class between the $20 price point like Baryonyx and Parasaurolophus and the $50 T-Rex. I could see something around that $30 price point, which will allow us to get dinosaurs in the same size class as Stegosaurus. So hopefully Mattel does do that. I don't see why they're not going to, but I guess we'll probably know in a few short months when they give us more Hammond Collection news. So final thoughts on this Lost World set. I really like it. I think Sarah turned out good. The Stegosaurus, baby Stegosaurus, is absolutely fantastic. It has minimal paint apps, but the sculpt and the way the paint apps are applied gives a very movie accurate look. The adult Stegosaurus is a great figure. It's just not a good representation of the Lost World Stegosaurus. So yeah, the set is definitely worth $40. You're getting 3 really nice figures. Did it need to be a 3-pack? Not really. It could have just been a 2-pack with Sarah and the baby and maybe a vehicle or something like that. I really didn't need another adult Stegosaurus in my collection unless it was painted movie accurate. So it's probably why I not just like too crazy about this Stego in the back right here. But other than that, it's a decent set, and I really hope we get to see more Lost World stuff from Mattel. Like I said, it's an absolute gold mine for them to mine. There's so much product they can get just from that one movie, and I really hope to see more sets in the future. Now, like I said at the beginning of the review, this set is exclusive to Target in the US. The link to order it is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I do have that Rugops Primus figure I need to review, and my Beast of the Mesozoic 1/18 scale, all the Raptors and Protoceratops, Psittacosaurus, all those just shipped, so I should have reviews up for those relatively soon, so stay tuned for all those. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys for the next one.